If your Amazon business relies on suppliers from overseas, these tariffs could crush your margins. But in this video, I'll show you how to stay profitable even during a trade war. So let's first explore the no tariff scenario, the good old days. Okay, so this is one of our products here, and this is the breakdown in the cost, right? So right now we're selling it for about $23 USD. This is the FBA fee, the Amazon fee, and I broke it down by the amount and the proportion, or should I say the margins, right, at the end. So this is actually what we are experiencing. So our manufacturing plus shipping costs us about $5.90 total, with the advertising per unit of $4. That's how much we spend in total divided by the units sold. Alright, so with 0% tariffs, this is the ideal world. We are getting about $4 profit per unit or 19% profit margin. This is great because when we sell this product, we don't just stick to $23. Sometimes we can even go as high as $29.99, and we are selling at this amount. This is very profitable, right? The profit margins are excellent after advertising and all Amazon's costs. This is great. Now, drumroll, the world has changed. Suddenly, we are talking about tariffs left, right, and center, right? So let's talk about the first scenario, which is just slightly, before 2025, right? Before the latest slew of tariffs came in. So let's talk about that now. So on the 2nd of April, President Donald Trump announced a whole slew of sweeping tariffs on many countries, including, of course, China, the biggest trading partner, right? And Trump raises tariffs on China to 54% overall. So from the 20%, he have gone up to 54% just in April this year. Alright, and on top of that, after Trump has done this reciprocal tariffs, China retaliated, right? After placing the 34% tariffs on imports from China, China also went on to retaliate with another reciprocal 34% on US goods as well. Because of this, Trump once again threatened an additional 50% tariffs on all Chinese imports from China. Right, so if you're still following the numbers, basically it started with 20%, then it went up to another 34%, so it's 54% now from China. And now, if China do not take away, or should I say we hold back their retaliatory tariffs, US is going to impose another 50%, making the tariffs on China to be 104%. That is a never before seen number in the world of tariffs, at least. Alright, so let's look at the numbers and exactly break it down. How does it look like on our product? So now we move on to this new scenario, right, which is 104% tariff scenario. Everything's staying the same except tariffs now is 104%. So basically 104% just means the formula manufacturing plus shipping costs multiplied by 1.04. Alright, it's 104%. So this amount is equivalent to $6.14, right? Very high and steep amount, almost 27% of the entire retail price already. Alright, so in this scenario here, definitely a lot of sellers, not just us, right, will immediately be pushed to the negative after advertising. And to be honest, this isn't a good news for anyone. No one wins in this scenario, right? First off, sellers loses. Number two, end consumer, which is the US customers, they also end up losing because the cost will definitely go up for them. And thirdly, you have decreased trading activity all around the world, right? Unfortunately, this is the bad world we live in right now, and we as business people, we have to adapt to that. Alright, so here are what we can do as business people, as Amazon sellers, to do exactly the 3 strategies that we can to thrive in the post-tariff world. Alright, so number 1, I would absolutely look at all the numbers here, right? Because these are the few numbers that affects your profit margin. So there's only a few things that you can do, right? Number 1, look at your manufacturing and shipping costs. Is there any way you can revise this downwards so that you can pay a lesser tariffs overall, because the tariffs is a percentage of these 2 items. So let's say if you can negotiate down from $4.20 to even $3.80, right? Immediately you bring more margins back to your entire per unit sold, right? Let's say your shipping cost, it can goes down from $170 to $150, right? And more margins is added back to you. So if you can reduce this as much as possible, please go ahead and do so. Renegotiation with your suppliers is probably much needed, and probably now is especially the best time to do that as well, to alleviate some of the pressures off you. Okay, so that's the first thing I would absolutely do, and let me just write it down here as a list. Number 1, renegotiate with suppliers. So that's exactly what I would do as the first one. Now number 2, what I would do is focus on this big issue here, the elephant in the room, the tariffs, right? This tariffs is based on goods coming from China, right? Perhaps why don't you explore an alternative sourcing supplier from another country like Vietnam or even India? Like I know for aluminum products like an egg pan, right? There are other countries that can supply this. Vietnam is a good contender, India is another good one, maybe even Indonesia or Japan, right? So some of these countries could be a viable source for you. I know Vietnam has a 46% tariffs, right? So instead of paying the painful 104% tariffs right now, if I were to source it from Vietnam with all pricing staying the same, okay, assumption, this is how much I would be paying, right? Let's say we're going for Vietnam, my tariffs will now be 46%. So with a 46% tariffs, I have a 11% margin right now, right? So it's gonna be so much helpful in terms of getting this profitability for my product. Alright, so second strategy, source outside of China. And the final strategy that we would highly encourage, and I also will predict this is going to happen naturally, is increase your retail price. And that is just the nature of business. At the end of the day, we are here to make profits. We are also here to make sure that we have enough take-home amount, right, at the end of the day after all the costs. So most naturally, a lot of the products, the cost will be passed on to the consumer. And we have seen this to happen in 2018 when Trump first introduced the 20% tariffs. Most of the cost is passed on to the consumer, right? From 2018, 2019, a lot of these tariff costs has been passed on to the consumer, and all of us accepted it as a new normal, alright? And for 4 or 5 years, we were enjoying the new normal, and suddenly we are pushed into this 104% tariff scenario, which also means perhaps in the future there will be a new normal where customers or consumers will get used to the higher than usual price. So instead of staying at $23, probably the right move will be going up to even $30, right? With this, we have enough room to play around and we can still run this business profitably, right? So these are the three really sustainable way to still maintain your products on Amazon. But at the end of the day, guys, always look out for your margin. This percentage is going to tell you whether this product is still worth it to sell or not. So for some of us, it could mean cutting away unprofitable products, especially products that are in the single digit margins already, right? Those products especially will get squeezed out really tightly by these new tariffs, and this could be a sign for you to pivot to another product. Alright, and as a bonus tip here, alright, bonus time to expand outside of USA, okay, with Amazon FBA. Remember guys, USA is just one marketplace. Yes, it's a huge marketplace, but let's not neglect the other marketplaces that Amazon has as well, such as Canada, Mexico, UK, Germany, Italy. Those are also pretty big markets on their own, alright? So perhaps now is a good time for you to leverage on these uncertain times with the USA kind of tariffs war. But what you can do is perhaps focus your energy in focusing in expanding to other countries, and perhaps you can increase your top line revenue without the tariffs, because look, the UK, the other countries, the European nations, they are not imposing any tariffs on Chinese goods. Alright? Look, change is coming whether we like it or not, but Amazon FBA isn't dead. The sellers who survive this season will be the ones to adapt fast. So don't panic, position yourself ahead. Remember to like and subscribe this video. If not guys, keep crushing it.